Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Today's date's February 21st, 2024. The approximate time is 1:31. I missed it by a minute. We're meeting here at the City of Laredo Council Chambers, which is 1110 Houston Street. And we're going to go ahead and get the chairperson to call the meeting order and the chairperson to call roll, please. So, Mr. Juan Mendive, we could get the roll call, please.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Briones will help us call roll today.
Good afternoon. Judge Tano Tijerina,
Present, huh?
Mayor Dr. Victor D. Trevino, Councilmember Melissa Cigarroa,
Present.
Councilmember Ruben Gutierrez,
Present.
Commissioner Jesse Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner John Galo,
Present.
Councilmember Vanessa Perez, Mr. Epigmenio Eti Gonzalez,
Present.
Mr. Jed Brown.
Present.
For the record, you do have a quorum, Judge.
Very good. There is a quorum. If we could get a motion to...
Excuse those not present?
That's correct.
Vanessa?
Second.
Motion second. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead to item 3, citizen comments. Do we have anybody at this point in time that would like to say something? I didn't get anything. Okay, very well. Item 4, item requires policy committee action. Item 4A is approval of the minutes for the meeting held on January 17, 2024. Anybody have?
So moved.
Very good.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and item 4B, discussion with possible action to approve resolution number MPO 2024-03, adopting and supporting the 2024 Texas Department of Transportation Safety Performances Measures PM1 and targets. Mr. Mendive?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. For the record, Juan Mendive, MPO Director. This is an item that's coming back from last month. I know not everybody was here last month either, but there was some question on these targets that we need to set. The deadline to set these targets is by February 27th, 2024. As we've done in the past, we're asking that we adopt and support the state Texas Department of Transportation safety targets. Again, this is a federal requirement.
Excuse me real quick, why did we not approve it last month?
There were some questions on some of the figures we had, so we made it more concise.
Okay.
But we did find out there was a discrepancy
Oh, that's
with
right.
one of the
I was
columns
wrong.
that showed
Yes.
data. Now we had said it was actual data, that was actually target data. So the data that Mr. Gonzalez presented was the correct data. The one we were presenting was actually supposed to be target data. So what the state does, they're actually using trend lines from older data. So all the last few years are all targets, they're not actually
Got you.
actual
Yes, I do
data.
recall that. Anybody have any questions that were not here last month?
So what they're asking us to adopt is the 2024 target. What do you see, because of the changes in the
Yes.
bill?
Yes.
They're asking us to go with the lower one, so there's in this case, also if the target changed from 2023, if it was gonna be higher, you have to go with the 2023 adopted 5-year average target. That's why you see those 3 bottom figures, the number of serious injuries, rate of serious injuries per 100 million vehicles miles traveled, and number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. The 2024 5-year target is the same as the 2023 5-year target, because according to the new requirements in the bipartisan infrastructure law, the target cannot go up. It needs to stay the same or decrease. And the way that TxDOT develops these targets, again, they're using older data trend lines, but they're also working for, like, example, the number of traffic fatalities. They're looking to achieve 0 fatalities by 2050. So they have projected data, and then they do a 2% reduction of that projection line. And that's how they set these targets. But in some cases, that target, like I mentioned, it's higher than last year's 5-year average target. So they actually have to adopt that lower target.
Motion to approve and adopt item 4B.
Second.
Motion and second. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you bringing that back and explaining to us. I know that we had the ones that were here. We just there's no way we could adopt something that we didn't, the numbers just didn't look right. Very good. Okay, item 4C, discussing with possible action on the Char-Ruthinger Road project. Hey, welcome, Mr. Chavez. Yes, I don't think you got your seat warm there. Hello, sir.
I was just printing out some stuff actually. I don't know if this
All right.
works or you know if this one's working. Or, no, I'm gonna have to.
Take your time, sir. Take your time. Catch your
Thank you.
breath.
Appreciate it.
I know you just ran a couple of miles to get here, I understand. It's a little warm outside now.
If it reads it.
Take your time, we're fine. I know that Councilman Gutierrez has to be out here by 2 o'clock, so at 1:59, he said he's going to move a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
For the
No
record,
pressure.
no pressure, it's on. For the record, Ms. Vanessa Bettis is here, present with us today. Hello, ma'am.
Right on time.
Councilwoman.
Good afternoon, committee members. Ramon Chavez, city engineer. For the record, before you is a brief status of the State Highway 84, or previously known as the Charles Ruthinger. So the list that you see there, those are the 9 parcels that we continue to work on. I highlighted 4 of them, especially because last night, City Council approved 2 resolutions. Resolution 2024-R-081, accepting the charitable donation of parcels 1, 2, and 5. And at the same time, they approved last night Resolution 2024-R-077, approving parcel number 4 for the purchase of that tract of land. Therefore, we have 5 out of the 9 parcels still pending to be acquired. The other report that I do want to give is that yesterday as well, we received written documentation for the donation of land of parcel 6.
Okay, so then you're lacking 1, so you're lacking 7, 8, 9, and 3, and out of those 4 that you have holding or pending, do you foresee a problem with them, or do you know?
We're trying our best to work all these out. As you can see, parcel number 3, it's 0.24 acres. 7, 8, and 9 will be a little bit over 2 acres. But foreseeing issues, maybe one of them, but again, we continue to work on these.
Has the letting, I think this question is for all of us, has the letting date changed at all?
No, it has not, Mr. Chairman.
That has not changed.
That has not changed, and that's why we continue to
Yes.
push on this.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Vanessa Perez, please.
Yes, I wanted to just reiterate how excited I am to see this, and especially hearing about parcel 6, because the city's job was to acquire this, and there were some snags along the way because there was some transfer of ownership. We had to split parcel 6 and make parcel 9 because a piece was sold. But TxDOT had basically said that if we could acquire the Hachar and the Ruthinger portions, that's 99% of the right-of-way, and they were not gonna hold up the letting date for the other fraction of a percent. So with track 6 being donated and the Hachar tracks being donated, TxDOT should be fine with.
And that was a good point, and I was gonna ask that question on TxDOT. Now that you have acquired parcel 6, which is a Ruthinger Living Trust, is that enough to just move forward, for the right of ways?
So, Chairman, we're still, obviously we've been working with the city, and Ramon, on this. We're updating our construction management plan. So basically, it's part of the document that we must, submit to administration because we still have right-of-way that is not cleared, or not acquired prior to letting the project. So even though in the plan we're demonstrating that it will not have an impact to the project, we still have to document that. So we're also documenting some existing, I guess, utilities that still need to be adjusted. But in that plan, we're demonstrating that our contractor will not be delayed, I guess, in the execution of the contract.
Could you,
We're talking roughly 2.5 acres.
yeah, okay, I was gonna say, so, is that a yes or no?
So that is, as of right now, that is a yes. I know parcel 6 is still, I guess you received a resolution in support? To donate, okay, but that's still probably gonna be done, at next month's,
Well, our goal is to, if I may, Honorable Chairman, our goal is to have it on the March 18th meeting. That I'm gonna call that worst case scenario. But if we can get it before, if there's any type of special city council meeting, so I'm sure we'll plug it in there so that we can get this in.
Commissioner Gayla, did you have a point to
No, I just, we're talking 2.5 acres roughly, right?
Yeah.
It's outstanding, so.
So, I mean, yes, I agree, some of the main, parcels were parcel 2 and 6, and, the others were, some slivers, and then, I guess some that would not have an impact to our construction project,
Sure.
right? But they may have impacts to our utilities, so that's why we're still kind of, monitoring those things, right? I believe parcel 3 is going to eminent domain, and then parcel 7, 8 was pending the offer letter for parcel 9, right?
That is correct, and we just received that, last appraisal yesterday. So our staff, continues to work on this to push that, final offer to make it part of the package for those 3 parcels, 7, 8, and 9.
So everything's looking really good.
I heard yes, so I'm good, yes. Yeah, I'm good.
No, no, Chairman, we continue, and we continue to push on this. Staff, I may be here, but the staff from real estate, engineering, and our city attorney's office, we're pushing.
Look, you're not gonna hear anything from me until you go the other route. No, we can't do this, or no, it's gonna, lettings change, that's when you're gonna hear it, I think, from me. But right now, if you guys are saying the letting date is still good, all right, I know y'all are working hard for it, I
And the
appreciate that.
letting date is when?
May 2024.
Huh?
May of this month,
This May.
of this year, I'm sorry, Monday.
If I may, I just want to say that everybody's so stressed out about this. When you go to these meetings, you can just feel the tension in the room, and
Isn't that
everybody's
beautiful?
like, it's just like, are we gonna make the date or not? And I mean, that's like the goal. I think everybody's on the same page, but it's very interesting to watch this unfold, and it's almost like the ship is sinking, and everybody's has their hand on the holes, and the ship's still floating, but. I'm very excited, and I feel like it's great that we're able to hopefully deliver this to the public, because it's long overdue, and we've worked a lot, with the funding gap and with all these obstacles, and TxDOT's patience with us in acquiring the right of way, but still not. They're holding true to their letting date, and hopefully we'll be able to make that date, and we'll get some shirts that say "I survived." Charlotte is there or something.
I like your little analogy, I'm still looking at us doing this.
So, letting date, what's the construction time after that?
So I believe that we've, and I don't have the information in front of me, but I want to say that the contract time is 32 months. So, we've made some changes to try to compress that. And, another concern too is, just availability of resources, right? Like materials and those type of things. So we have to kind of balance those needs. But right now we're looking at just a little bit over 3 years.
Now, remind me, letting date is when you award the bid?
Correct. When the bids open, yes, opening of the bids.
Oh, it's the opening of the bid, so we have not seen any bids yet.
Oh, no, it's still, so it's and I don't have the exact date, but it's the first week in May. And, the advertisement is 21 days prior to that. So it's still, we're still a little ways from that, but.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Mr. Chavez?
No, sir.
Well, you came in, and I guess you can sit down now.
Appreciate that.
We appreciate you very much and your time. Keep up the good effort, sir. Thank you so much. All right, so next we have item 5, reports and presentations. These are no action required. Let's go ahead and get a status report by our Regional Mobility Authority, the RMA. Mr. Brown?
Good afternoon, everyone. Jed Brown with the RMA. I included in your packet are updates on the projects that we're working on right now. If y'all ever have any specific questions, please direct them to me, and I'll do my best to answer them. Also, I would let y'all know that as of yesterday, I received my reappointment from Governor Abbott for another 2 years.
Congratulations.
So y'all got me for a couple more years.
You're doing a great job, so keep up the good work.
We will continue to make that effort. Thank you very much, Judge.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions, comments? Very well, we'll move on. Item 5B, I think I'm gonna get you out of here.
I think you're going to.
Presentation and update by TxDOT FY 2025 Unified Transportation Program, UTP.
Well, let me start asking some questions.
No. He's like, no. Mr. Rodriguez, how are you today, sir?
How are you?
Thank you, appreciate it.
It's here.
Roberto Rodriguez with TechStat, and I'm just going to give a quick presentation of the UTP, but before we do that, I want to give a brief explanation of what are the planning and programming documents we have within TechStat for the projects to get developed. You can see on the slide, we usually in TechStat, we have a 2-year certification or letting schedule, that we do with the certified projects. We have our 4-year STEEP that we work in conjunction with the MPO to get the projects that are funded, and ready to be led within the next 4 years. After that is the UTP, the one that we'll be talking about, and that's a 10-year plan of projects that already have construction funds. After that, the MPO will develop what we call MTP, those are 20 years worth of project, and then we have a statewide long-range transportation plan that's 24 years. So pretty much what you see the UTP, it's somewhere in the middle between the 2025 year development and or letting schedule. So all the projects that are on the STEEP, the Statewide Transportation Improvement Program, of course, are included on the letting schedule. Same thing, anything that is on the UTP is also included on the STEEP and on the 2-year, letting schedule. So that's kind of in the middle, between our long range and our actual letting schedule for the 2 years. How do we get the projects in the UTP? Every project starts with what we call Plan at 30. Those are projects that are outside the UTP, and they were allowed to do some schematics, some environmental constraints, start looking at alternatives and feasibility studies. Then they'll compete to get into the UTP, or what we call, and it's more of the development at 30, years 5 to 10, on the letting schedule. And that'll give us the time, to complete our PSNEs, get a right-of-way acquisition, and do all the necessary process to go to the next step, which is the construction at 30, years 1 through 4. So right now, if you look at this is 2024 UTP, is the next 4 years, 2024, 2028. Those are the projects that are under construction at 30. Then, of course, after that, they go to construction, what we call post-letting. What's the schedule for the UTP? Right now, usually, I always say that when is the UTP starting for the next year? September the 1st. The UTP gets approved like this upcoming August, we're going to approve 2025. So September the 1st, 2025, we'll start with UTP 2026. So it's a continuous process, on the UTP. It's not just something that gets worked out towards the end of the fiscal year, but the commission approves it on August, and the next day, the next month, we're starting with UTP. You all can see on the schedule, we start in October, putting some of the goals, performance measurements, some of the target fundings. And right now, we are February, We're actually looking at the already have some of the preliminary numbers for the 2025 UTP based on the financials that the state has. And they're about to release our UTP planning targets. Now, these are targets for our typical categories that I'm going to be talking about, like Category 1 for preventive maintenance, rehabs, Category 2, Category 4. Usually the numbers that are calculated by formula. Those are the ones that they will be giving us around this time on the month. And but at the same time, as we speak, actually, today there's a special commissioners meeting in Austin when the administration is presenting all the projects that are trying to compete for some of these additional funds on the categories like 4R for rural connectivity, or Category 12, which is the commission discretionary funds. So right now, the administration is presenting to the commissioners the priorities, for the districts. And as we move through the year, you're going to see how in August, it gets presented to the commission, and it gets approved by August, the UTP. How do they select these projects, especially the ones that, we get a lot of the funding, which is Category 4R and Category 12. This is the methodology that the state uses. We have the statewide priorities and system needs, where they cover safety, congestion, and connectivity of the roadways. And then we have our performance measurements, project performance, which is the safety, preservation, congestion, connectivity, economic development, and environmental. Once we get all those scores, they combine it into one single score as a project score. They'll look at the local priorities and the MPO, district priorities, and they come out with a project recommendation. This is a methodology they use statewide. Now, what are the funding categories that we have within TechStop? That's what we just gave you all a copy because it's a lot of information on the table. But the one that I highlighted are the ones that are impacted by the MPO or selected by the MPO, which is the category 2, which are projects selected by the MPO in consultation with TechStop, some of those funds. And of course, our category 7, which I feel we're all very familiar with that one, that we are using right now, for example, for the State Highway 84 projects. Category 1 in this case are selected by formula. It's pretty much a fixed amount every year, and I'll go through some of these amounts that we have. We have category 4, which also it's our statewide connectivity corridors. Some of the price we got with category 4 is like the US 59 that is going out of the Loop 20 out of Laredo for the 20 miles. We got category 6, which is our bridge replacements and rehab for all the off-system, on-system bridges that we have. But all this information, like I said, is all there in the packages that you got. It's just too much information to have it on one slide. And then we had our safety improvement projects, category 8, transportation alternatives, and then our supplemental transportation program, which includes railroads, safety areas, landscape, Texas Parks and Wildlife funding. It was a brief, large, better explanation there on the pages that you have with you. And then we have category 11, which is our district discretionary. Usually the district gets about $2.5 to $3 million a year to do safety improvements on improvement of sort of the on-system roads that are a priority for the district. And then one of the biggest one, our category 12, which is the one that is project specific at the discretion of the Transportation Commission. And these are the projects that are nominated by the TechStop, by the district, by the MPOs. They go through the formula to compete to get the funding. Usually they try to address the most congested roadways, with Texas with this funding category. This was our 2024 funding, and as you see, we got over $100 billion of the UTP funding. Just category 1 was about 16.6, and category 12 it's $17.7 billion on projects. Now, how did it look for Laredo? This is in millions. A quick summary of what, how is it that we get the 2.1, close to $2.2 billion for the UTP 2024 to 2033. As you can see on category 1, which is our rehab projects, we get about $60 million a year to maintain all the roadways with the district, which involves 8 counties, all the way to Valverde, Maverick, Kinney, and to the north, LaSalle County, and some of the energy sector areas like Dimmitt and LaSalle. And that's kind of one of our biggest category that we get for Laredo, to do our preventive maintenance. But also we have a category 4, which is original statewide connectivity projects. Some of the stuff you see in 26, and 25, 27, 28, there are projects like Uniroyal, the interchange where they're in Uniroyal and Charlotte interchange. 27 is the connection at the mile marker 18 with 83, when we have the underpass under the railroad with a very low clearance, so we're going to go over. And the one on fiscal year 31 for $300 million, that's our 20 miles of US 59 widening to 4-lane. And then at the same time, it's a combination. At the bottom, you got category 12, and we combine some of these funds to fund the projects. But for category 4, you have about $600 million. Category 12 is about 463 billion for the next 10 years.
Yes, please.
The interchange, I don't see the interchange for the Vallecillo Road on there anywhere. Where is that documented?
The Vallecillo interchange, it's under planning authority right now. It's under development. That's one of our priorities to ask for funds. This is actually under the competition list that we submitted.
Right.
To get funds to get it, one of these categories.
From the discretionary monies right now, the leftover discretionary monies that the commissioners
right
have?
now, the first funds, we gotta go for, it's our category 12, category 4, we can get some of that funds for the project. And we're trying to kind of work out a plan B, maybe if that doesn't work, maybe we can do some category 2, depending on how much money we get allocated this year. Maybe around $16 million, which is not enough to fund the project, but maybe we can put some of that money to partially fund it and then start competing and start trying to see where the rest of the funding can come for the interchange in Baisio. So,
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I appreciate you asking that question. I was gonna ask a broader question, but you kind of went right after where I wanted to go, which is, when is the list gonna come out with the draft of all the projects that you all anticipate for this district? If there's a draft list that comes out months in advance of the August list, that's the actual adopted 25 UTP list, when's the draft coming out so we can see what's on at least the initial draft?
well, for the category 2 and 4, which are the formula based funding that we get, we are, like I said, we're about to get out the draft numbers from the commissioners. It still might change, a little bit, plus or minus, but for that one, we probably will be another couple of months when we can decide, and then it has to come to the MPO, so it has to be voted, category 2,
We're
category
gonna
4.
prioritize that list. We're the ones that set the priority.
Yeah, so we can say, hey, what are what are the priorities, of the MPO in this case? But I can tell you for some of the projects that we have right now in our draft list of requests, it's we have some funding gaps right now in the Union Royal and the State Highway 84 project. It's we have a funding gap also on the mile marker 1883 project, the railroad overpass and the 83 connection. So we're trying to fill those two gaps. We also have our checkpoint, on 35 on mile market 29, trying to get some funds to add additional lanes.
Wait, mile marker 29?
Yeah, on 35.
28,
Charlie 29, yeah.
Yeah, the checkpoint for the Border Patrol station.
What are you wanting to do there?
We want to add an additional travel lane on 35, making 3 lanes, but at the same time, building auxiliary lanes to separate the trucks from the.
Commissioner Galo and I, we call it Operation Checkpoint, because we're constantly sending the sheriffs out there because and we can't keep up with the demand. It's terrible. So
Yeah, that's why it's one of the top priorities, for the district right now. Trying to get some fund, of course, it's about $160 million project, so.
How much?
About 160.
116.
Million.
160.
160. Yeah.
Catch, please.
Um,
While I catch my breath.
The 160 million you're mentioning for that project, Congressman Cuellar was announcing that he's put a focus on that checkpoint and wants to bring in new monies. Does that include the infrastructure? Is that solely for the technology that Border Patrol would use to help process those trucks? Do you know if it includes?
I'm not aware of what kind of funding. I know one of the previous meetings we had, he mentioned about getting some funds for the design of the checkpoint station, the new expansion of the
That's what I heard, like
station.
32 million just for design, which is
So it's
crazy, so that means it's gotta be a $300 million project.
I don't think it has anything to do with
Well, that's something
infrastructure.
to go
So
hunt for.
I don't think, he never did mention anything about the roadway itself. Now, the reason why this project is a little costly, because we have to go back about a couple of miles, reconstruct existing 35. We're gonna do it of concrete now, to avoid, what the conditions we have right now with the pavement rotting because of the 18-wheeler stopping and going.
I still have the question of why do we have checkpoints all along the southern border and there's none in the northern? I know it's not a question to be answered now, but it's just a question to be tossed up.
You mentioned over and over and over again. Yes.
Some of the other projects we got on the list that are along the priority, we still had a little gap on the US 59 on the airport. We kind of added some other things to the project and not create a little gap, but we still got some time to get that money. We have the last 3 direct connectors pending on 35. We got initially we had it broken down by each direct connector, but we're trying to put them all together, so we just go back to that intersection one more time and just get them all done and get away from that intersection once and for all. The remaining 3 direct connectors. Of course, we have the project that are funding on Loma del Sur overpass. That we have the Baisio Road also in the UTP, which is project that are already funded. We actually looking at see how we can actually get funded for Loop 20, Pitama, it's Sierra Vista and Cielito Lindo overpasses. Those are the 2 overpasses pending.
That's what I was gonna ask. I know they're ranked up there in the project list, but how would we go about getting them funded?
Well, that's one of the things we gotta discuss. Once if we can get some category 4 or 12, from the MPO, once we get those selection, we can partially fund those projects. We already got the plans to think on those. We have a consultant that should be delivering within probably 8 months, the complete set of plans for those overpasses. So that's a good advantage, that we have, that the plans will be there too.
Roberto, real quick, I'm sorry, let's go back to that initial question that I had about the checkpoint. When is that gonna happen, I'm sorry?
Well, we're trying to get funding right now. We got a consultant right now. They finished the schematic. They're gonna start the plans themselves. The next phase of the project development. Luckily, we don't need right away. We don't foresee any major environmental constraints, no utilities. So
You don't need right away? I thought you all were trying to convert the
So if I
running
may,
road and stuff.
Please, shed some light on this.
so this project, we recognize that, we have the congestion that occurs because of the checkpoint, right? So about 3 miles south of the checkpoint to about a mile north. So 3 miles south of the checkpoint, 1 mile north, that's the area that we're looking at to widen to
Pretty
6
much all the
lanes.
way up, like where the Callahan
Bridge
overpass is.
yeah, the proposal is to move Callahan Bridge from its current location and move it back. I think it's Becerra County Road. That's the one that actually has the traffic. We had done some already public involvement with the folks, the property owners, and they didn't see a problem moving that bridge back. That will even give us better visibility for the queue, on the trucks.
And similar to the checkpoint over there in south of Alfurias, where they separate the truck traffic from the
That'd be really
passenger
nice.
truck traffic. So that's what we're trying to do with this $160 million.
That'd be nice. That way the sheriff doesn't hear my complaints every 5 minutes. So.
I have a question. if I
Yes.
may. So I know that I-35 is part of the Ports to Plains, bigger picture connectivity that the state has laid out. And Laredo's kind of at the heart of a lot of these alliances and everything. Do we receive additional funding for these types of improvements that benefit this bigger picture plan? Or are we, basically kind of having to utilize our regular normal allocations towards fulfilling these bigger picture plans without additional funding?
Yep. We usually have to use the typical, funding that we have, that we've been getting based on formulas. But the Category 12 and Category 4, those are the ones that have been helping. Now, there is a Category 11, which is, we used to call it RIDE 11B, now became Water Structure Improvement Fund, something like that. That we are trying to see if we could get about 20 million per year, to complete or help fund some of the existing projects.
Okay, question, if I may.
Yes.
So this Category 11, that's what you said,
Yes.
Category 11? Category 11, is that based on a formula or is that based on discretion of the commission?
The Category 11 is based on the discretion of the district for roadways and improvements on system that are within 25 miles from the border, that will help the flow of truck traffic.
So let me just add to that. So we get a fixed amount. So then we can utilize that amount on any project that, I believe it's 25 miles
Correct.
within the border, right? So that's where we have that discretion of using the money. But as far as the amount of money, that's the amount of money that we're.
Well, if I can add to that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but normally the federal government gives, like the state of Texas, a large sum of money, and then TxDOT takes the money and then they distribute it out, so they wouldn't be, unless you get an earmark from Henry or whatever, you're not gonna get additional federal funds, because it's already been given to the state.
Good point.
Well,
Yes, please, ma'am, please.
Well, my train of thought here is that Laredo is part of these, bigger plans, right? And I know a lot of the border communities are, and I've always
We've
talked
been saying that for a long time, but Dallas and Houston keep saying we're the big boys, so we get the money. And,
Right.
And you can go there and you can see the traffic congestion there too, so, you can understand it.
Right. I just didn't know if it's like, there's these bigger plans, but then they're like, okay, do your part, but then we have limited funding because if, the formulas that they're using are based mostly on population. And, it's just kind of it just seems like we're asked to participate in these, big projects, but then it takes up most of our funding,
Well,
right? So it's.
I didn't
it's
really
an
wanna,
issue.
I don't know if this is the proper place to say what I'm fixing to say, but one of the things that I'm working on, I was just talking to our consultant here not too long ago about this. I had the opportunity to meet with a lot of South Texas County judges along the I-35 corridor. And a lot of them are their first terms and whatnot, so I kind of brought it, including the Bear County judge, I actually brought it up that I would like to bring a coalition together of the county judges along I-35, that way we could go and start petitioning what needs to happen, because I'd like to see actually 3 to 4 lanes, I'd like to see 2 more lanes. And then the Bear County judge actually even said, I wanna go further, I want a rail from San Antonio to Laredo. And what's happening, it's funny that you mentioned, or somebody mentioned Dallas and Houston. He says, since I've been here, all they talk about is the Golden Triangle. That Golden Triangle is from Dallas, San Antonio to Houston. He said, the problem is it's all congested. And so there's not much right of way. It takes forever to do anything, even a block. And so he's like, I want to start showing from San Antonio to Laredo. I want to start opening this up. And so when I came up with this idea and we're going to start meeting on it, they just were like, let's do it. And that's a great opportunity. So hopefully we could do it, we could get together, have more people on our side, have more people understand, because we all know that 35 is a major corridor.
Yes.
And so we need to continue making it bigger and better.
Right, and this is when category 12, becomes useful, the one that is a commission discretionary, the ones that they go through the scores and they go through the priorities and they can select the project success. We got some of the funding for existing projects, and those are the ones that right now they're gonna start looking at the projects, statewide, what projects they're gonna be funding. So if any opportunity that my boss and I have the chance to give them the messages, Laredo, this is the problems we have, to the commissioners, we do that, to make them aware,
I will say, being here close to, this is my 9th year, since I've been here, as of late, Texas is really listening a little bit more to us, because before it was like,
No.
Well,
we've grown leaps and bounds just by getting their ear, and I appreciate that.
Correct. 2015 or UTP was about $300 million.
And what is it now?
2.2 billion.
There you go.
So that tells you that.
Point made, point made.
So Judge, if I may, Roberto, can you elaborate on that, Samco? I think there's a meeting that we're looking at, here in the near.
March the 1st, there's gonna be a meeting, I'm sure some of y'all have been invited at the Laredo College for the San Antonio Mobility Coalition.
Actually, the county judge, the Bear County judge will be here that day.
He'll be here.
Yes.
And of course, there's gonna be a presentation by Texas, San Antonio and Texas and Laredo. They wanna look at 35 improvements. What is it that we're doing in Laredo? What is it that they got proposed in San Antonio? So see how we can accomplish that. And they wanna create the Laredo Mobility Coalition, to see they can get some send them give them a message, about the needs in Laredo, and of course San Antonio, and eventually, the plan is to get the Laredo Mobility Coalition together, and then work with the Valley and work with El Paso also to talk about the border, infrastructure needs on the border.
I have to ask, I'm sorry, it's been bugging me for so long. Is there any plans, do you know of extending, 130, the toll road to connect to 35, south of San Antonio?
Instead of going through Seguin?
I'm not aware of that plan, but, I know a friend of mine that's highway contractor did actually, recommend something like that. He actually sent me a map, kind of like a little.
I mean, if they have any foresight at all, they would do that right now.
It does make a lot of sense.
Makes a lot.
Yeah, because I gotta go through Seguin all the time.
Yeah.
That's always fun. Okay, any other questions on that particular item? Very good, let's move on. Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Roberto.
you.
All right, next we have, what's the next one? Hold on a second. Got caught up in the conversation. So here we go. Update by MPO staff on a stakeholder meeting held on January 24, 2024 to discuss traffic congestion issues at the Unitec Industrial Park area. These people have been hurting for a while.
Yeah.
They really need some help.
Yeah.
talk to me, Juan, and see how we could help them.
Right, so, I did put in the packet the presentation that we provided at that stakeholder meeting, January 24th. And there were some questions about who was invited. We had about 20 people there. We tried to do it internally, more like, city staff, county staff was there. We had people from the RMA and the stakeholders, right? So there's different type of meetings we can have. We wanted to start with this more staff-like meeting. TechStop was there as well. And, but we took the approach of talking about how are we gonna address congestion management from an MPO perspective, right? That's what we can do as an MPO. We're involved with the planning, right? I know it can be frustrating sometimes because we might not have the short-term solutions. I know an email was sent after that meeting that some of you might have been copied on, and they're asking for that short-term fix, right? There are some things that us as an MPO might not be able to do, but we're hoping to have some follow-up meetings as well. But there are people there from the city and the county that hopefully can also help with some of the requests that they have. This was the agenda that we provided at that meeting. We had introductions. We gave a purpose of the meeting. I'll go right into it. The purpose of that meeting, like we mentioned, was to better understand the existing issues in the problem areas. We know the congestion exists, right? But we want to better understand it coming from the stakeholders. And also to understand the MPO's role in managing congestion and planning for multimodal solutions. So, we can understand what we can do as an MPO, right? Again, a lot of things we can do are more short-term and long-term. We wanted to facilitate the dialogue between the stakeholders and the public agencies, and then brainstorm some short, mid, and long-term potential strategies, recommendations to manage congestion and identify those next steps. At the meeting, I know Mr. Garza from, Eddie Garza from Crane Engineering presented a proposal, and for a road, I think city.
May I stop you there?
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I mean, I know that you're doing all these efforts, but these poor people have been, I don't know how many of these meetings they've had. So my question is, how do we remedy the problem right now? Because this is, I've gone to I don't know how many of those meetings, and it was 5 years ago probably that I went to my first one. So what can we do right now for them? Because this all, we understand all this has been going on. We all have heard it. What can we do today?
Yeah, an idea that they came up with that was discussed one time here at the MPO was about changing some of the streets to one-way. I know Mr. Trevino in the email he sent, he mentioned that. Of course, that would have to be the city that would implement that, or that would have to evaluate that. I don't know what we as an MPO can do really to push that idea. That's really on the city since it's their right-of-way. And I think that's something that they're asking, if the city can look at that and changing those, there's a circulation plan that the former traffic director had presented one time, but I know at this meeting it was mentioned that still needed further evaluation.
And just for clarification's sake and for my education.
Yes.
Does TechStop have anything to do with this, and can they do anything for it?
So I guess in the short term, Judge, I think, and I know Rafael Guzman, our Director of Transportation Operations, is not here this afternoon, but, there was a discussion between us, I guess, our office and the City of Laredo, as far as improving the intersection, basically eliminating some left turn movements to improve the efficiency of the signal. So it would operate a little bit a bit more efficient. So that in itself would potentially gain a little bit of or reduce I guess congestion, or not necessarily congestion, but just the travel time through that
That's city limits,
intersection.
right?
What was that?
Is it city or county limits?
City.
It's a city, yeah, because I'm sorry, the city limits go all the way to 83.
And there's
Just
portions
talking
of the county there already, but where the problem is city.
So is there anything you can do today for them?
Well, we can do we can certainly look into doing something in the short term. And short term, I mean, probably within a few months. I mean,
They just need the help. Everybody that I've talked to over there, works over there, it's just, until you're there, it becomes a nightmare to go to work and come
Judge,
home.
and I've been to that intersection. I see it, and it is a challenge.
I pass by every single day, 2 or 3
Judge,
times.
if I may, what are the MPO boundaries? Do we go past Unitech?
Yes, we do. It goes to portions of 255, but it does go past Unitech.
So,
Yeah.
if we wanted to do something in there, because, I remember, because they delayed the the reconstruction of the Unitech overpass until Ruthinger's done, because otherwise it would have been a complete nightmare. But really, I think the solution's gonna be a north-south road coming out of Majestic, connecting to Ruthinger, and then you're gonna need an east-west road. What is it? Is it Copper or Doctors?
Do you have a map?
But you gotta be, we gotta be able to get north, and, you know, we should time it to coincide with the opening of the overpass. Because otherwise, I mean, they're not gonna be able to, then, as soon as that overpass is open, they start reconstruction on Unitech overpass. So imagine what it's gonna be like. It's gonna be horrible.
Last time I looked at this, if I may,
Yes.
we looked at a map, because I don't remember if we were here at city council, but we're looking at a map on it, and it looked to me like the short-term relief, the best option that I could see, and I could have been missing something, but was this kind of dirt back road at the northern end of it, but, and
But how do you get across
and they
the railroad
used to
track?
cross the tracks there, but the railroad tracks told them they can't cross there anymore. So if we could coordinate something with the tracks to allow them to temporarily traverse through there, like, without, I mean,
Where's this, Adams?
Doctors.
it's kind of like, at the northern end, there's like this makeshift dirt road.
Yes.
And they would exit through there, and that was kind of another exit for them, but the railroad cut that option off for them. And if we could get the railroad to give them that short-term option of allowing them to cross over the tracks, that would give them another way out, but none of us here have the authority to do that. We could take it upon ourselves to facilitate a meeting with them, maybe coordinate, maybe make a motion to have
UP's not
Trying
gonna
to find
allow
Even,
grade level
to
crossing.
coordinate with the railroad
They're gonna
in
close
the
it
short
down,
term,
deaths and-
and then meanwhile allow TxDOT to kind of reevaluate that, and then allow the Laredo traffic to kind of come up with maybe like a right turn, instead, eliminating the left turns, kind of like what UPS did a couple years back, where they did all right turns in their, like scheduling.
That's right.
Maybe we could do something like that, and then those three things combined would provide some sufficient relief to these people, but.
They just need relief, and that's why I'm just
Other-
asking. I know I'm asking some loaded questions right now, but it just seems like, we're the ones that have the power and the ability to do something, and they have just, I feel sorry for all of them. I've heard them all, I've heard their cries, and I listened to it, and we just need to figure something out.
Would Mr. Mendive, would that be beyond his scope to have him, the motion for him to coordinate these discussions?
So that's where the motion
With
came
who,
back.
with the railroads?
With the
That's
railroad
gonna be
and,
a tough.
That's a motion you all made back in November to start talking to the stakeholders and maybe include the railroads. We've been trying to find a good contact. We don't really know who's the correct contact for that. I don't know if someone, from TxDOT maybe would know who we can talk to for that. Again, I'm also being careful. We don't want to step on the city's toes, right? Like the city department heads, because I know there's also other
no,
work
but
that they're doing.
I think it would be,
So
somebody
they were there
has
and
to
we had
spearhead
the county
this
there.
thing.
We can spearhead it, but ever since we've had that separation from the MPO and the city, I also don't wanna step on management's toes on the city side, so I'm also, being careful with doing what we can do as an MPO on the planning side, right? So definitely we can be involved in those conversations, we can coordinate those meetings, but we definitely would need to include management, I think, as,
I think
city
it would be
management.
beneficial to include your discussions, to include the railroad on this, potential short-term option, and coordinate with the traffic department on these, elimination of the left turns as much as possible, and then TxDOT can work out some kind of improvement to that traffic light. Maybe we can discuss it in a few months' meetings.
Yeah, I know it's been brought
I
up.
don't think we're gonna find a solution now, but we definitely want to figure something out, and so if we could put this in some kind of list or some kind of priority list,
Yeah, and that,
I'd
I
like to
mean,
do that.
the char overpass to connect to a char and doing a char to the east, all that came up in this meeting. We know that's not now fixed, but we got feedback from the stakeholder meeting that we're gonna put in our Metropolitan Transportation Plan, which is our long-range plan.
I know they've tried tiers, they've tried everything, but the tiers is only a certain little spot, you can't go outside the tiers. So, I've
Well,
heard,
this is one of the few places I would say, TERS is
The problem is, commissions, that the tours that they were trying to create,
Well, the one.
it
Majestic-
wasn't alleviating the problem because, you know how it is, if it's
No,
just blocked, that's
Majestic was
it.
doing it for themselves.
Yes.
It was only for Majestic
Yeah.
and it, make that a
Exactly
better
right.
subdivision.
Exactly
We're talking about a street, or a boulevard, whatever,
Yes.
what's the 5-lane designation?
Arterial.
Like,
Arterial?
Major
Major
arterial.
arterial, going, north-south out of that northern, dead end of Majestic.
Judge, can I ask another question?
Yes, please.
That, the railroad track running parallel to the track going north, where's the next crossing of the track? Because there's the one there, a little bit south, and then
Zoom out just a little bit, please.
where would the next crossing option be? How far?
Ruthinger?
It'll be Ruthinger, actually.
Ruthinger?
Yeah.
So how many miles is that away?
Oh, that's, what,
How
let's,
far?
let's,
That's the 13-mile marker, no?
No, that'd be 18. The Ruthinger is way out there. 13,
No.
way past 13. Are you talking about the next
No,
one?
well, Ruthinger overpass.
Figure's about 15 and a half.
Yeah.
Around
Yeah.
there. The Unirail's 13, so it's about 2 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
2 to 3 miles, maybe, max?
About 2 miles.
So
that's
maybe
right,
they
it's
can
18.
create like a dirt road in the county, I mean, that would be county, right? That's outside the city limits right there?
We'll bulldoze whatever you want.
I think we could do a parallel. Let's do it. Let's do like a parallel road that would take them to that next, so that they could at least get out from the
But I
northern
mean,
end.
it's not built yet.
Are you,
We're talking about.
Judge?
Well, I'm saying, what is the current existing
I-
option that they have to cross
I
the
don't believe
tracks
there's
now?
another crossing until,
255, right?
but are,
No,
Judge,
to 83.
Wait.
To 83, mile marker 18.
yeah,
Yes.
to the.
are you, are y'all talking about any existing grandfathered grade level crossing that exists coming out of a ranch? Or are you talking about a dedicated public right-of-way that's already on plans that's gonna come out of the east side?
No, I'm
to get to-
talking about in the short term right now,
That's-
if I wanna get out of there, the only way I can cross the tracks is at that southern, only
That's-
street. And where would the next point be? Because that's where the
Well,
bottleneck.
there's 2
can
points,
happen.
egress and egresses there. There's one next to the Loves, which is the one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the overpass, don't forget. So
carrier.
there's two, but they're small. Both of them get congested very quickly. But there is 2 right now.
So maybe we can just look at those two and eliminating some of the left turns that might clog it up? Or are there any,
That's
TxDOT
what I
would
know.
be in charge of those improvements, right?
I'm sorry.
On those 2 intersection exit points
And-
onto 35?
At, at like existing Uniroyal? or-
Yeah, at the two access points that we talked about, where the Loves is at and the other overpass.
So so we're,
Coming out of Unitech.
yeah, that is our intersection, right? I mean, I'm not sure exactly which other one you're referring to.
No, I'm just looking at what are the options, because they had another temporary relief route that they created for themselves, but the railroad shut them down and stopped it, so now they're back to, I guess, those two points, but.
I believe that this is something that we need to, I think we could sit here for a couple more hours and try to come up with ideas, but if we could figure out,
Yeah.
maybe somebody could maybe bring this back in a month and have it, because I think we need to start helping them some way, somehow, and push this and keep it in our forefronts. This iron needs to be in the fire constantly. We need to finish this.
Aren't you all gonna make the Washington trip? That's where you need to talk about it over there in DC. Give you some kind of exception or something, because,
An exception for what? Oh, with the railroad?
yeah, where the, Secretary of Transportation or something makes a phone call, because otherwise, the railroad's not even gonna stop you.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
They took my whole fence.
Mr. Mendiva, during this brainstorming session with the stakeholders, did they come up with any ideas? What did they see as perhaps the most logical places to begin?
One of them was that construction that I mentioned that Mr. Crane has presented before, but again, that's gonna take a lot of money, more time. So the idea that they have is something that had been presented before, the former traffic director, again, like you mentioned, Mr. Crane mentioned in his email, they don't know if it would work or not, but it would be to eliminate that, left turn here on Carriers to the left on Port Drive for them to do some type of loop around, being one way, that we can come back, so changing the movement just there. because right now you do have some trucks backing up because they're stopping to make that left turn movement to access the warehouses, right? So they talked about doing some type of loop around on just changing the direction of the roadway. Again, that's a city of Laredo, a thing that would have to be done.
Could I ask, was our traffic department represented at this meeting?
Yes, they were there.
Okay.
The director and staff were at the meeting. So I think, and they mentioned,
That's good.
Can
Yeah,
you
they're-
move it down, I'm sorry, the map? Move it down, no, the other way.
Councilwoman, were you done with your?
Yes, yes, Judge.
Okay.
So, is the black line gonna be the Rissinger?
correct.
Okay. So, I'm just,
That is correct.
I think Majestic has, I don't know if that red line there is where Majestic has a connecting street,
Yes.
proposed.
Is that the Garza route?
It's similar. Yeah, I think that's, let's see.
But we need to,
Will you zoom out for us just a little bit? I'm curious on where.
Because you're correct, Mr. Brown, that's the Garza route.
Keep going, keep going. I just want, right there, you're good. I just wanted, no, that's too much.
It's too much time.
Right there.
Okay.
I just wanted to see a little bit more of it.
I mean, the Gotha route is, like I say, I don't know, when's the letting of the Ruthinger?
20
May.
June or May.
No, Ruthinger.
May
Oh,
2021.
overpass.
Oh, the Ruthinger overpass, that's part of that project, I believe it's November. October.
October
this year?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And so then, you know, we can do a dirt street, you know, we can do a dirt.
We can.
I mean, we have to get.
Maybe go parallel to the track.
could-
Oh, just like take that red line, you can do Doctors, and go to that red line, because remember, you have to get it far enough away where they can make the turn to get onto, and straighten out and to get onto.
We could probably make it actually really nice. We could put cement, I mean, we could,
Well, I mean,
we could pave it, we could do everything.
Well, I'm saying, you know, we can, as I'm saying, that's,
Yes.
that would, I think attorneys would do that, makes that property, that's Ruthinger property, so I don't
It's
think we'll have.
county commissioner, it's county land.
Huh?
I believe it's county land. I don't think, or you're
Oh.
talking about a county TERS? Or city TERS?
No, we can county, we can do church now.
Oh,
Yeah, we
But
could
I'm saying
do,
I think that's Ruthinger property, so.
it's a new legislation that they just passed.
nice.
We're growing up.
You can do TRZs too, which are specific to roadways and not all encompassing, so y'all have the right to do that also, I believe.
Yeah, before it used to be a resolution of the city, because you, I mean, not a resolution, I'm sorry. Yeah, a resolution for the city, now it's changed.
Nice.
Okay, again, we could go on and on and
Yeah.
on about this. Is there any way that you could bring this back up next month, bring it back to the item? Just to make sure that, you know, maybe you gave us something that,
Yeah.
or you're gonna tell us something that maybe you forgot today or move forward.
We can keep bringing it back. It doesn't mean I'm gonna have a solution by the next meeting.
No,
Because
but it
it's
keeps us
something-
in the forefront.
Correct, I just wanna make sure
You
that,
sit on the front burner.
that's not, because
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any next steps for this stakeholder group? Are you meeting again with them? Is
yeah, that's the
there-
plan, was to meet again. I know, we've been wanting to schedule something late February, we might push that into March. I need to reach out to them. After Mr. Torino's email, I know something that was discussed was maybe having a separate meeting with the council member, management, right, about that short-term solution they're talking about. I'm waiting to see, you know, with the responses from the city, I'm sure.
Right, so I mean, if we can help, push management and traffic to get together so something can come out of
Yeah.
what the proposals were from this group.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I'm okay, just like I said, as an MPO, I can schedule that meeting again, but, you know, that might not be talked about if not all the people that need to be there are there. So I think that meeting should come from the city side, right, if we're gonna have that meeting to discuss that sole, short-term solution they discussed.
Judge, if I may?
Oh, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna change my thought process. Let's just bring it in 60 days. And if you and I need to, for pre-agenda, when we go over the MPO, if I wanna bring it back in 30 days, I'll bring it back. But at least 60 days, you have an opportunity to be able to, a little bit more time, but I still wanna keep it in the forefront, okay?
Of course.
Yes, ma'am, sorry.
Would it be helpful for you to present this at council, to the council, as an update, so that we can maybe take some action? Cause did you come to council with this already once?
No, so this went to council to talk, Dr. King had put an item on the agenda, right, to discuss what can be done, right? There are several steps, and that came from a letter that the property owners had sent. So one of the things was, they talked about the TRC, right, and how can the RMA help, how can TxDOT help? And they asked, also send it to the MPO to see what other solutions they can come up with. So out of those conversations, that's how we set up the stakeholder meeting, and we're hoping to keep doing that. And one of the next steps we're hoping is to do maybe like a task force, right, to keep this issue at the forefront. So that's something we want to do. But we can go to council as well to present, that's not a problem.
Well, I think a status update would be helpful, but it seems like, Judge, if the county's willing to work on that solution,
We are.
I think it would be helpful maybe to present to us like some of these solutions that are proposed and then have something that we can contribute to that so that everybody's doing their little bit that they can to help. You know, it's unfortunate that we allow these developments to happen, but we don't properly plan for, I guess, this type of growth that we have. And sometimes we want to maximize our land use and we end up congesting ourselves. And you know, it's just, it's a thing that we've been doing to ourselves over the years, and then we come to TxDOT and ask for help, you know, and it's just, it's something that,
Perfection is always under construction.
I like that.
We'll keep coordinating and see what
That's what
short-term,
it is, it's the search for perfection.
we definitely want to be part of the short-term solution. But again, my responsibility also as a planner is to make sure we continue to think about the future as well. So we'll continue to do that as well.
Very good.
Thank you.
No more questions? I hope not. All right. Anything else? Juan?
Director's report,
Director's report, Juan, you might as well stay up there,
I will stay up here.
please.
So, you have the report in your packet. I did want to add just a few things. First off, wanted to congratulate Mr. Brown again on being reappointed.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Why are you getting all red and stuff?
I know, I'm blushing.
Another 2-year sentence.
I also wanted to congratulate TxDOT and their team for the US 59 loop upgrade, to the groundbreaking they had. And for getting that project underway.
Order better weather next time. It's cold.
It's a great
Oh, it was
project, and it was a
freezing.
real nice event.
And under that shade, it was so cold. I shared some intimate moments with Senator Xi, that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I saw the pictures, I could tell everybody was cold.
It was cold. Yes, sir, go ahead.
So just yesterday, we met with our FHWA representative, Kirk Fowler, and our TxDOT field rep, Sara Garza, to discuss our upcoming transportation management area certification review. That's gonna be June 25th through 26th, so they'll be meeting with staff, the transit agency, and they wanna meet with at least 3 elected officials. So we'll be reaching out to see if y'all can meet with Mr. Fowler in June.
Here?
It's gonna be at a Metro Transit conference room. But we're still scheduling all that. And that review is done every 4 years. Excuse me. Also, the RFP for the microtransit feasibility study, which we programmed in our 2024 UPWP, was issued on February 3rd with a deadline of March 7th. So as soon as we hear back and get those proposals, we'll have our selection committee, evaluating those, and then we'll provide a recommendation to the technical and then to this committee. And the next Transportation Commission meetings, this is something that was asked that we include. I know there was one today, as Roberto had mentioned, a special meeting. I know on the agenda it mentioned statewide and rural connectivity projects. I think that's where they're looking at all those statewide projects. Tomorrow they have the regular meeting, February 22nd, 2024. And then March 27th, another special meeting. And then March 28th, another regular meeting. And then April 25th, 2024, another meeting. They already have the dates on that link that I have there. They don't have agendas, of course, but all the dates are there. But try not to go too far out, just in case if anything changes. But that link is available for you. Our next meetings, our Active Transportation Committee meeting, February 28th, 2024. Technical meeting, March 12th, and our policy meeting will be March 20th here. I was gonna mention also that I will be out on leave the first week in March. Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
With the Texas Transportation Commission meetings, is there any recommendation, should there be a meeting that we attend?
When the draft UTP comes out, probably that'll be a good idea. Usually is June, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I know last year we went around May because there was an item for a char, but probably the June meeting would be good, so we'll keep that in mind.
So they are optional, and then there's a recommendation later to try to attend.
Correct.
Certainly.
Yeah, and these are live streamed too, so that's why I put the link there in case. You know, sometimes it conflicts with our own meeting, like right now, right, there's a
Yes.
special meeting. I was gonna add one more thing, I know it was mentioned about this, mobility coalition. That was an email that, Mr. Morris had sent, so I saw a lot of you, I think, on there. But, if you didn't, let me know, we can forward that to you. I myself won't be there again, cause I'll be out on leave, but, my team will be there.
Where is it?
I wanna say it's at was it the Texas office? That mobility coalition?
No, it's at Laredo College.
I thought it was Tammy U, it's Laredo College?
It's
Check the email and I'll forward you the
Will you forward us all that email,
I'll make
please?
sure, 'cause I don't wanna give any wrong information.
Yeah, just forward all that email to all of us, please.
The one we always go to over there then.
And I might need a post for potential quorum in that case, so we'll do that.
Oh, Judge, if I may, the one that, you're talking about Robert Morris invite, is that the Samco one?
Yes, that's the one that they were talking about earlier as well.
Very well.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
I would like to entertain a
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion, second, any opposed?
Nope.
Motion carries. I didn't think so.